right. So, aren't things just unfolding beautifully, at least in relation to our spiritual path? I know that there are things in the world that seem to be getting in the way and so on, but it's not the truth of God. Some people say, oh, that undermines or understates the importance of these things on planet Earth. These things are not seen or experienced by God. Nothing on this planet has any kind of power to God in heaven or in the consciousness of the divine. This is just stuff for now. In a sense, it's just human stuff. If I call it petty, some of you will get offended. But it's petty. It means nothing to God. And that doesn't mean I'm saying that everything that is precious to you, like a trigger, is worthless. No, it is important to you. I'm saying it has no power to God. Just like Jesus coming out and walking on the waters. It's not like he went, oh, this is a tough one. Walking on water, you got to be kidding me. If there was more saline in it, maybe, it's like, no. Stop believing in these things having power over us. But I love that lately we've been able to come out, as it were, and say, come on, back to God. Ever since I arrived here 10 years ago in Sedona, my teaching, people have known for all the years I've taught that I'm into, reconnect with God. But when I came to Sedona, I was kind of like thinking, I don't know, man. This is Sedona. I was thinking, I talk about God. In Sedona, they're like, UFOs and Bigfoot and whatever. And I teach all those topics too. But I was wondering, are these people going to take to this whole God thing, Christy thing? And that was the feedback I got. Thank you for bringing God back. Because living in Sedona and or in the world at the time, everything started getting so fancy, so frills, oriented. And so I was pleasantly surprised and appreciative that folks are like, back to God, yes. And it's like, oh God, this was such a great design on your part to bring me here to a place that's like basically the number one New Age Mecca, Sedona. There's no place on the planet, for New Age audiences, that is more of a Mecca. This is really number one for all kinds of reasons. But is it being sanctified in the name of God, or is it just energy and red rocks and crystals or whatever? There's some really strange things in this town. There's people that have thought, I'm going to go to the top of one of the red rocks and jump off through a vortex and land in the fifth dimension. There's all kinds of things. Oh, this is true. There have been people, and then they got to go bring out the rescue operations, aircraft carriers pulling into Phoenix, and I'm kidding, but they have to bring in the military to rescue people from themselves. It's a strange place. So how are they going to handle me talking about the Divine Mother? How are they going to handle me talking about birthing Christ consciousness? I'm so grateful it all came around. I was talking about Mother Mary, the Divine Mother, Kuan Yin, and people are fine with it because our hearts know this is the truth. We want that back. And I have no, qualms saying it. I have no problem saying you cannot birth your divine self. I of myself am nothing. I have no problem saying that. And the older I get, because I'm getting really old now, the older I get, the less you care about what you say. What are you kind of thinking, hey, I'm going to die soon anyway. I might as well just let it out. You ain't going anywhere, You need to have the divine in you born again. And you can't do it. You can't do it without the mother. I can't birth myself. I'm the one that messed it all up. I need someone that remembers the truth of who I am and helps evoke it from me. Just like the mother in every form, like a mommy, like a counselor, like a life coach. They all have one purpose. It might look varied, but it's really one purpose, to help you remember yourself. But if they're doing that, they're technically midwifing that. They're helping it along. What's the it? My Christ child. They're helping to bring that forward. And how could I not be fully grateful to them in any form they were? Your human mommy might not have helped you birth spiritually. And this is unfortunate because your mom should birth you physically and then she should nurture the birth of you spiritually. That's what Mother Mary did for Jesus. So I think I'm going to go to earth and try this out. They birth you physically and get nowhere spiritually, psychologically, just wounding, adding to the wounds. So unfortunately, they're not going to birth you. Most moms aren't going to birth you psychologically and spiritually. What are you going to do? Live in lack? Live in, she should have. If only she would have done so, I would be better off spiritually. You have an unfortunate task before you. You have to birth her. I know that sounds unfair. Then don't do it. And then you will not be birthed, because if you can't birth another, you won't experience the birth. So through our love and forgiveness, and I don't mean enabling hurtful behaviors, but through our love and forgiveness, we're birthing the Christ in others that it would have been nice. You know, you get a partnership. The partnership is not about two people getting together. It's about the two people getting together and giving birth, not to babies, but to the Christ in each other. And instead, what we do is find fault and push each other away. I thought you were bringing the Christ into my life. Because Christ loves unconditionally. I thought you were going to love me unconditionally. So what? I let myself go. You're supposed to love me. You know, and so on and so on. You project all this stuff onto them and then leave them when they don't live up to it. What happened to you birthing the Christ in them? How did you expect holiness from a partner that nobody has ever seen holiness in? They don't have a great reputation down at the corner bar. You should have known that. You know, so if they're not living up to, they might need to be born again. And you're in their life to be the one to midwife that born again level of consciousness. Did you do that? No. Forgive yourself. Now you know. And so next time you'll say, I'm not getting in another relationship. No, I'm kidding. But what you'll do is you'll know you're not getting in for the frills. You're going in, and this is big stuff, a relationship. I don't care if it's one night that you spend in intimacy with a person or you spend 50 years. Your job is actually still the same. I swear. One night or 50 years, the job is still the same. And it isn't to just enjoy the time you have. It's did you or did you not find a way to see their true self? If you die and go to the other side and they say, how'd that all go? Your relationship. And you say, well, you know, it was okay. I mean, we went roller skating, and they don't care about that. They're like, what? What's roller skating? We mean, did you get any further in birthing the Christ in that person? If your answer is no, they say, that's okay. We have several more to match you up with next time. We have all kinds of people. And since you were a little blind about seeing this opportunity, we're going to make the next ones very apparent. We're going to make them where you can't miss it. When they walk in the room, from across the room, even when if they live in Madagascar, they're going to have some spontaneous inspiration from us, the angels, to move where you live. And you, wherever you're living, you'll just suddenly go, oh, you know, some cold chill will run through your spine, not knowing that it's because the angels have found just the perfect person to bother you, to annoy you. You don't have to go that route. If you can just get used to birthing the Christ, how about starting with nice people? If you can't see the Christ in me, meaning any nicer person in your life, how are you going to see it in hurtful people? Start somewhere. Other people say, no, I like starting with the difficult people because then the others are easy after that. Hey, if that's what you want to do, some of us, those are warriors. Warriors aren't like, bring it to me very nice and easy, please. Warriors are like, hey, I don't care, man. I've bled on battlefields, man. I've dismembered people and been dismembered in lifetimes. Now I'm a spiritual warrior. Bring it on. And they're okay with, you know, the universe going, okay, wow, we're going to give you not one, but two families, you know, to work on. Not just yours, but all your in-laws are going to be nuts too. So you have two groups of family members to push all your buttons. And you'll be like, yeah, man, come on, bring it on. They're going to have addicts in it. They're going to have people stealing from you, misrepresenting themselves. It'll be full on. I have no idea where this is all coming from. I haven't even asked you yet what you want me to talk about. It's just happening. Right? That's right. So, I just love it. The universe sees things so differently from us. We actually think that what we see is it. That's the whole thing. We think this is it. Oh, I know. I have a relationship and it's for material reasons. I have a job for material reasons. There is no material. The material is just a hologram holding still long enough for you to get something out of it. Get meaning absorb lessons from. So it freezes to say, look how well you're doing. Or days, it freezes to say, are you sure you want to go through with this? That's all it ever does. This beautiful mother, which is also the word matter. This beautiful mother says, I am your mother. I am your matter. I will materialize, mother eyes for you. Ta-da! And she shows up. And what we do is we're praying. We start doing this, emergency Morse code to God saying, dear Lord, I don't understand. This is happening. And God's going, how have you gone so far away from knowing that nothing can be frozen out here for you that you didn't ask for on some level? Ask for doesn't mean I requested it verbally. Ask for means it's matching your consciousness. That can't be. There's a war. I'm not warring. I'm very nice. Don't take it too literally. The war materializes either because you have a belief system about war and conflict, or you're conflicted, believe it or not. You could be conflicted. One of you in your partnership, one of you wants children, the other doesn't. You know what that's called? Conflicted. All conflict contributes to war. Your little conflicted thing. Do I want to die blonde? Do I want to die red? That's conflicted. I don't know. All of that contributes to duality. Duality contributes to war. Guess what? The war that's happening on the other side of the planet is being fed by you and I having inner conflict. It goes into the ethers like a layer around the earth. All of our being in a world of duality and conflict. And then war starts and it's just sucking that conflicted energy and it feeds war. We contribute. You may not know how or why, and that's why I brought this up, because some of us go, I have nothing to do with the world. You do. And it's not always a verbal request, of course. Sometimes it's just picking up vibes, feeling conflicted. If you have issues with your mommy and daddy from childhood, birth and childhood, family of origin, it feeds to every kind of conflict with male and female. If you have unresolved stuff with your mother, then it's going to mean you might end up with challenges with Mother Earth or anything that's nurturing. If you have unhealed wounds about dad, that means you're going to have issues with government and religion because those are very masculine and controlling. Any issue is going to go somewhere. It's going to get filed somewhere, and it will affect my life and our life. Your issues will affect your life and our life. No thoughts are wasted in that regard. And the only way we can say that thoughts can be wasted is when we're having unloving thoughts. They're not wasted. What I meant by not wasted is they're always doing something. Thoughts are things. They're always contributing to something in the world. In that sense, it's not wasted. But it is wasted when my unloving thoughts are used, because if it's not contributing to love, then it's contributing to illusion. And in that sense, I'm wasting my time. You're wasting time to hate anybody. You're not bad or wrong. You're just on pause. The real you has pushed a button. I'm just on pause. I'm still thinking, talking, yelling, judging. But my spiritual self is not present. Is it? Where is it? It's still here. It's been put on pause until I love again. Well, what's happening while I'm on pause? Really nothing. That's why it's called nothing. That's why the masters of the East have called it an illusion. And then people get offended. How dare you call my world an illusion? This is real. Look, I can touch it. Oh, that. You're relying on your senses to tell you what's real and not real? Big mistake. Because your senses are picking up on the opposite of real. The more I can touch it, taste it, feel it, smell, and all that, the more it confirms it's not there. Now that person's going to be extra offended because you're making them sound insane. And you're right, they are insane. When people are talking to things that aren't there, it could be mental illness. And this world is not there. Faith in things unseen, a biblical quote, faith in things unseen means your mind has flip-flopped and started believing in what you can touch and so forth and see. The real world is the unseen world. When children are telling their family members and their teachers, I can see lights and all that, and they're told, that's ridiculous. See, what's happening is a conversation between those who remember and those who don't remember. And those who are remembering are considered insane because you're seeing things that they can't see. So what should I do if I'm one of those? And I am. What if I should do if I'm one of those that see things that people don't see? Should I get hurt and stuff it? I refuse. Should I stop believing in it just because they don't see it? No. What I need to do is forgive them, for they know not what they do. They're not seeing it. And it's actually sad. It's like, instead of getting offended at what they think of you and so on, how about trying something else? Instead of getting offended, how about feeling sorry in a healthy way for them? Feeling compassion. Wow, you don't see that? There's lights. There's beauty. Angels right here. I mean, you could practically just sneeze and drop the veil and see them. All of us have had moments where we're doing one thing and we saw a little something, we look and it's not there. It is there. But you made the mistake of thinking you saw it and turned and used these eyes to see it. These eyes can't see spirit. This is so much to share. They can't see spirit. These eyes are two. They're dual. Duality can only see duality. I need to, like Jesus said, let thine eye be single and you will be filled with light. What did he mean by that? Let your eye be single and you'll be filled with light. Because as you allow this eye to open, which is best done with the help of the mother, the Holy Spirit, her womb, her reproductive organs, her yoni, as it's called in Sanskrit terminology at Far East, is this thing we came through when we were birthed physically. She's also going to have the same shaped item right here called your third eye that opens to birth you spiritually. Is that making sense? It's all that Vesica Pisces shape. It's the symbol of the Pisces. It's the symbol of the Christ self. So my mother births me, but she didn't birth this. But the mother will. If we surrender to her. If we say, I want you to help birth psychic abilities, but not complete knowingness. I want you to give me this, but not this. Sometimes she will try to, comply and help out if it's within your higher good. But why do that in the first place? Why place an order and tell her, here's what I want you to do and not do? Try, here I am. Do with me what you will. And there's a key word. Will. There's God's will and there's everything else. God's will. God's will, clients and so forth. How do I know, Michael, when I'm doing God's will? How do I know if you go more by a feeling than a fact? To know if you're doing God's will. To know if you're doing God's will, we could narrow it down and say, there's a feeling of peace. There's a feeling of joy when you're doing God's will. Now that gets tricky because a lot of people will do things that excite them and call it happiness or joy. Well, as soon as an addict grabs hold of some heroin, they're like, I feel joy. This must be God's will. No, that's stimulation. That's different. Don't confuse excitation with joy. Joy is something you feel in and out. It's different. It's like a tranquil joy. Doesn't mean that you're not happy and your eyes aren't grand and you're feeling all excited. That's there. but it's inside. It's through and through. But the joy of God still can be confusing to people because they feel excitement. And another thing you can do, is it seeming like the greater good for everyone? See, because I could go, I've got this partner, okay, and I've got this neighbor. Wow. Feeling and looking pretty good. And every time I see them, I feel so wonderful. This must be God's will. But if I'm not sure, let me muscle test it. Yep. Because your body and muscle testing is a good thing to do. But all too often, it'll do what your will tells it to do. Subconsciously, you could be saying, strengthen the arm. I want the neighbor. Yeah, that feels really great. It happens all the time. The more you get used to asking for guidance and what is God's will and meaning it and being consistent in asking, the more consistent your answers will be. The more direct they will be. You don't want to tamper with the guidance that's coming. That's why Edgar Casey would say when you have a reading, or why he himself would say to do his readings, he had to do a ritual, which is actually a ritual that master yogis typically would know. There's a technique where you literally will your ego to step aside so you can have direct connection. Is that something that's easy to maintain 24/7? No, of course not. And of course not. You could do it and say, I'm going to start this day, Om Mani Padme, and connection, connection, connection. Boom, and it's there, and you feel egoless for a moment. But then, as soon as you get out of bed, oh, what's that ache? That's not God. You're starting to slip into the material world, right? And you put something on, it doesn't fit like it used to. There's more of the world. It's going to come in and come in. Our job is not to be without an ego or without a material world. Our job is to learn to forgive any of it that shows up in our face, trying to tell us, convince us that we're not holy beings. That's what it's about. Don't shame them away. How dare you? Forgive them. They know not what they do. So there's a voice that comes along, and a news show, and a family member. Who do you think you are? And you and your spirituality, and they do that. But that's not just them being inappropriate. That's a test for you and me to say, what do I believe? When they say, oh, it's all bogus, instead of just hating them, shutting them down for such comments, what did you get from that? Did you realize that was a test for you? And you got to come up with an answer. If you want to be developing the Christ child into maturity, you've got to have an answer. Don't just say, how could these people say these things? What is your answer? I am as God created me, and I will to be the Christ on earth. Remind yourself that. This has never changed. I am as God created me. I'm a holy being. My father and mother aspect of God has never seen me in any other way than in the holiness I was created. It never said, neither of them ever said, wow, you really let yourself go spiritually. Oh, look at the things that have happened to you. Oh, you're that type. Well, we have a special room for you. We hide you. We have our closets in heaven that we hide people in. That it never ever has been like that. The statement from the mother to every one of us is the same it made to Jesus. You are my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. Now, I have to tell you, I'm a spiritual teacher. I'm a student of spirituality. I live many aspects of mastery, and I have not believed that every day of my life. That the mother would look upon me and say, you are my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. If she says it, I don't hear it. There's days as a child when I didn't feel that at all because of my upbringing. There's days when, you have a job and you get fired. It doesn't feel like I'm God's beloved child, right? You see what I'm saying? There's things. We feel like we've been programmed to believe that we being God's beloved child, and you mean like Jesus. You don't mean me, right? God. One look at me, in the mirror, in the shower. I know you don't love me. You know what I've done, where I've been, oh my God. You don't mean drug addicts. You don't mean, people that have cheated on their partners and so on. That's what we try to put out there. And you don't mean me. Yes, you are my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. No matter what you think of yourself, get over it. Get over yourself. Yeah, but, I'm wounded. It's nothing wrong with saying, I'm an alcoholic. It's nothing wrong with saying, I have some wounds and some childhood issues. There's nothing wrong with seeing that. But are you willing to see it and give it up? If you see it, own it, keep it, stitch it in, like graft it to your bones, it's off. And that's what you're doing when you tend to believe that you are less than, you are my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. How do you feel about the mother saying that about you? Are you like, oh my God, yes, that's how it should be? Are you doing that? Or is there, I still eat meat, I like steak raw, and I'm not saying, it's any of us, okay? I'm not a vegan or whatever. I didn't vote that particular persuasion. I don't go to church enough. There's all these thoughts we have. Even if they're not aggressive thoughts, even if they're nothing but, when I look in the mirror, I see myself aging. That's still a judgment you have on yourself. Notice that you have it. You're not going to be able to pretend, I'm not seeing cellulite. I do not see, you're not going to be able to do that. Oh, Swiss cheese, look at me, You're not going to be able to do, it's going to slip under the radar. Even when you're like, I only see myself looking gorgeous, I am gorgeous. There's going to be a day when you walk by a mirror and accidentally catch yourself and go, oh. Your job is to not see stuff. Your job is to go, wow, isn't that hilarious? That's what my eyes tell me I am, and it isn't true. Answer it. Answer it. Right? Counter it. Give it but no. Instead of hiding from it, oh, you, well, look at you. How funny. But no, you are not who I am. In fact, we just had that opening sacred reading. Yogananda, I'm not bones. I'm not this and that and the other. Right? You're not going to maintain that 24/7, that holiness. Your job is to know the truth that you are holy and forgive the moments where you don't feel that way. And you will have them, no matter who you are. Yogananda, in the top 5 of the highest consciousness people in our time. Still, he had a problem with one of his legs that was excruciating pain. Well, he shouldn't have that. He's Yogananda. Why didn't he just do more yoga? That would have healed it. Your job is not to fix it and prove how holy you are. Your job is, and it's amazing, because Yogananda, he'd be sitting in the room, back room, the green room, we could go, and his leg would be excruciating. They would say, okay, it's time. He'd get up and walk, not feel it anymore, because he's getting into the current. He's plugging in. Happened for me many times in my life. It's just like, it's like a different dimension. Now, part of me was frustrated about that. Part of me is like, yeah, but I want to be able to do this all the time. And I do maintain it most of the days, most of the hours of most days. That feels pretty cool. But there's a part of me that says, but what if a little more? Maintain it. That part is not God. That part needs me to call on the mother to forgive myself for even thinking I needed a little more. Because to imply I could do it a little better means I'm not enough now. And the mother, what do you think, mother? I already told you. You are my beloved child in whom I am well pleased. You mean you'll be pleased if I do better. You want straight A's, right? Did I say that? No, she wouldn't act like that, but right? How amazing. And if you've ever heard or felt the mother, which everybody has, but maybe didn't know it. Wow, there's this love, and it's a tranquility. It's such a peaceful feeling. It's incredible. And yet, that mother that she is, I am. So anytime that I loved someone, I don't mean romantic, anytime I loved someone from the mother aspect of my being, that person probably felt the same as if they were in the presence of Mother Mary. Oh, no, not quite. No, come on. I mean, Mother Mary and me? Don't do that to yourself. See, don't do that to yourself. What you're doing is a subtle, it sounds humble. It is not humble. To think that you are less than God thinks you are is not humility, it's arrogance. Oh, little old me, people that channel and people that write great books and people that do great things. Oh, it's not me. The healing isn't me. And we all have maybe said that. Stop saying that. You are participating, so own it. Yes. Wow, your healing work is great. Oh, it's not me, it's God. You're also there making the decision to bringing God in. So thank you for that. Oh, no. Don't push away the gratitude. Okay, thank you. I'm glad you saw that. You're seeing my dedication, my being any of us. You're seeing my dedication. Thank you. Thank you for seeing that in me. It's one of the things I personally have appreciated most is when people say, I can see in you a sincerity. That I can tell you. I can tell you I've made mistakes in my life. Here. Sincerity, I would never be able to hear anybody say it's not there. I know me. And even when I'm making mistakes, I know that I was at least, my intentions were sincere. So just something like that, grab hold of it and let it be part of your scaffolding that holds you up for a while. Develop greater sincerity, greater integrity, something that is an internal concept that you can hold to. My outside actions, judging myself and others now and again, that happens. But is there something else that you're grateful for that holds steady? No matter what happens out here in the storm, where are you really holding the presence? Is it faith? Is it clarity? Is it confidence? Find some godlike quality and develop that. Don't just talk about the outside stuff that you're trying to fix. Find and give credit for some really wonderful core quality inside, whatever that happens to be. And for me, ever since I was a kid, I know that it was there. There was always this commitment and sincerity to be helpful, to want to, be of service or whatever. That has always been there. That will always be there. In a way, that is an aspect of God that is greatly developed in me. And it's in everyone, but not everyone's in touch with that core thing. It carries you through a lot of the stuff out here, a lot of the storms that push and pull. Have something in you that is clear and solid that maintains you through those troubled times. Is that all making sense? I talk about the mother. This is a book. I'm so grateful I was able to get more of them. But it's Mother Mary and the Undoing Process. It's my favorite image of her because it really, her face here holds a presence to it. But there's two books that I think are fantastic about Mother Mary, and this is one of the two. Really, really beautiful stuff, and I was very pleased to find we could still get it. If you're interested in one of those, we have a box of them that we haven't put out yet, but let us know after service. Let's see, Linda May's raising her hand to volunteer to help with this. I know. So she can help you, or Valerie in the back there. They'll help us get some. I think there's a box in that room. That's why I'm mentioning it. If people want them, they can get into the box and get them in the bookstore, okay? But that concept of the mother, let's bring it back into our lives. Even the way I'm sharing this, you're not hearing any guilting and shaming. You're not hearing, you've let the mother down. I'm saying you can't let the mother down. You can waste your own time trying to do things and be things that you're not, but it doesn't change who you really are. Free will, going back to that and heading towards closing, will kind of means intention in a way. Will means choice in a way. There's God's will, and God's will is simple. I am that I am. And we're like, I'm not sure. And I sometimes am, and then I'm kind of like this, and then my race is this, my gender is that. We have all these weird conversations horizontally. God, I am that I am. So when God said, I'm a creator and I'm the presence of love. What do creators do? They create. So I'm going to create more love. And on that day, the children of God were born, and that's us. We are the loving, birthed presence of God. We're God expanding or extending itself. Pretty cool, right? And then we created as well, just like God created loving, beautiful things. But at some point in our creating, expanding more love, we wondered what life would be like if we created something that wasn't love. And on that day, we went to sleep and dreamt that we could be something that we're not. And as A Course in Miracles so succinctly puts it, you read in the Bible that Adam was put to sleep, but you never hear that he woke up. Why is that? Because Adam is us, we went to sleep, and we never woke up. All of this is a dream within a dream. Edgar Allan Poe calls it a dream within a dream. Willy Wonka calls it, we are the dreamers of the dream, and he's a good source for wisdom. It's a dream, the dream world, dreaming the world into being, the Aboriginal people call it. All these ancient cultures have their way of saying dream time. But there's dream time where you're passively staying asleep, dream time where you are waking. And that's the shamanic type of dream time, where you're going in and changing the dream, which is actually an illusion, but you're altering the dream into a happy dream. So what is God's will? For you to be home, but you're not yet. You are, but you don't feel like, we don't seem like it. Because we're living in a dream, which is actually more of a nightmare. Any dream where you're limited, bound, held back, think about dreams you've had, where you're bound, limited, held back, those are called nightmares. And that's this world. When you go to the doctor and they say you have something, you'll never get over it, that is a nightmare symbol. You're bound, you're held back. That's what causes nightmares. When you're feeling stuck. When you're like, oh, I had this dream. It was expansive. Love was everywhere. I was flying. I was feeling one. That's a happy dream. Still a dream, but it's a happy dream. Our goal is to go from the sleeping nightmare world to the happy dreaming world to the real world of God. But nobody goes from completely asleep, hurtful, angry to one with God. Everyone has to go to half awake before awake. Every person that's sleeping at night in their bed doesn't just startle to awakening, because look how abrupt that can be. Even when that happens, you have shorter time to adapt, and that's disruptive, right? Doesn't that make you kind of anxious? So spiritually, you don't go from completely asleep dream to awake. It's disruptive to your system. So what has to happen is, like most dream time at night, you start waking up slowly. You're going to gradually, you're deep asleep, gradually you're coming into, oh, I'm in bed and, oh, I feel some sunlight coming through the window. That's gradual. And that, again, is the patience of the mother. She doesn't say, wake up. What the heck are you thinking? Why would you think of being something you're not? That's religion. The startling, the fear, the guilting, that's psychology. That's all the systems of this world trying to tell you right and wrong. The mother just says, honey, wake up. It's morning time. Oh, what? Hi, honey. Hi, how are you? Did you sleep well last night? That's the mother. She's going to gradually bring us to waking up, and that's what she's doing. We can fight it. I want to go back to sleep. That's what people are doing now with all the stuff in the world. I want to stay asleep. I want to stay miserable. Leave me alone. Grumpy, Honey, but it's okay. Come on, wake up. So she's working it, and she's trying to bring everybody gracefully to awakening. But we are going to wake up. You can try and push the snooze alarm. That's called reincarnation. It's free will. But why don't I just go with God's will? God wills that no soul shall perish. Therefore, why should I sit around and try to perish? If it's God's will that no soul shall perish, it's probably likely that no soul will perish. Why fight that? Why continue reacting and hating and hurting? Go with the program, guys. No, I want my will. And that's what's causing your problems. God's will is not contrary to your will. You think free will is to be able to do something that God might not want you to do. That's not free. And it's not your real will. You're being rebellious and it's hurtful to yourself and everyone else. God's will is your best possible outcomes and so forth. The real you wants God's will. The ego tries to mess with your mind and make you think there's another option. And why would I choose? Let's see. Door number 1, great things forever. Door number 2, pain and suffering, limitation. Why would we even think about, well, could I take door number 2, half of that one and half of the other? Why would it even be an entertaining thought? No. Say no to it. Be still and know the I am presence of God. Get behind me. Door number 2, Satan, whatever. No. Say no to these things. Use your willpower, but don't use your ego will. Use God's will in you, and nothing can sustain against you. Nothing. Call in the will and presence of God. God wills that I be healed from this. God wills that I be alive. God wills that I be prosperous. That is God's will. Okay? I promise you that. God wills for your goodness. There is no second option and lesser option that God gives you. And you say, well, I guess God only wanted me to have this. There's no only, merely, meagerly. In God, just accepting this will of love. Are you ready for that? Yes, I am. Then let's go. Please take a few centering breaths. Centering. Calming. Let's center for a moment into gratitude. So, first, gratitude for even challenging things. But don't give thanks for challenges. Think about this last year of my life. Were there any challenges? And if so, what did I extrapolate from it? What did I learn from it? And give thanks for what you learned. Take just a half a minute to focus on gratitude that way. What I learned. Wow. Give yourself some credit. You learned through challenging things. Some people would have never thought they learned anything or should feel grateful. Some people will stay broken from their stuff. Give thanks and be really excited that you can pull something from it that you learned, because that'll help you forever. Now give thanks for something that was positive in your life this last year. Something that's come into your life that symbolize goodness. I call them the gifts of God. A person, it's not the person you give the power and credit to. You drew that into your life. Congratulations. But be grateful. Better pay. Finding a good masseuse. Anything. A new car. New tires on an old car. Thank you. Wow. Why was I minimizing the value of this? I'm so grateful. And I'm going to give thanks for this now, and that'll give me room for more. Which is our third step. After gratitude for the one, gratitude for the other, now, moving into a new year. What new things would I like to draw into my life? Not the ones I've had and gave thanks for. New things. It's God's will that no soul shall perish. It's God's will that you be happy, joyous. Make them things that are a win-win and that resonate with joy. Don't make them just stimulus-oriented. Don't make them just things you want to get. But you can have stuff. It's okay. I would love for such and such to expand in my life. I'm ready for a new car. I'm ready for better health. I'm ready for new friendships. Whatever it is, go for it. Be excited. You have to charge what you're asking for with the childlike excitement, not stimulation excitement. I mean a child going, oh my God, this is great. Mommy, Daddy, here's what I want for Christmas. Get excited about it. New friends, oh my God, I hadn't even thought of that. This is going to be wonderful. Charge it with excitement. It puts an impressed energy on it that sort of creates an attraction between me and that thing. And we start calling each other closer. Nice, nice. Alive, awake. I'm ready to be more dedicated to my path. Whatever it is, see it. And before we even see the results in our lives, right now we give thanks for all of this. I give thanks for the gratitude I feel towards lessons learned. I give gratitude towards things that have been gifts, wonderful things in my life. And now I'm already in advance giving thanks for the things I'm going to create this coming year. A different life, a new life, more peace, more happiness, more confidence, all of these things and more. And what we've just done is we went through Halloween, which is the stuff that's creepy that we said thanks to because we learned. We went through Thanksgiving by giving thanks for the good things we created. And now we just did Christmas because we saw what we're going to create as gifts under the tree. Happy New Year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Father, Mother, God. I am as you've created me to be. Help me to remember that more and more every day, and help me to forgive myself when I forget. And so it is. Nice. See, I actually brought a pen because I was going to write, and then there was no paper. I was going to write on my hand what you wanted me to talk about today, and I just didn't get to it. So, wonderful. Thank you. Peace and blessings to you all. Thanks for being with us in this beautiful, these ongoing, Sunday sacred services. We're going to take a moment, just sort of, gradually stretch in and get back into your body and into the room. All right. Please stand for our closing song and prayer. If you don't mind, we're going to do our holy chant. It only takes a minute or two. I came up with this one day, however it was just, I was like, wow. And so what we do, part of it is a traditional song, but the way we do it, I came up with. And it's for a good reason. I ask the men, the males, and or even a woman that is accessing that part of herself right now to do the lower voice, which is consistent. Holy, 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 over and over until a few sets, and the last time you say it, you say the word love instead. So it's holy, 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 love. Okay? What I ask the gals to do is what? Remember? The gospel in one word is love. Love thy neighbor and thyself. Love, holy love. Okay? So at the last two words, everybody will be saying the same thing, holy love. All right? And this was coming to me and designed for a reason, but please feel it and hear it from the right place. When the males are doing holy, 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 we're holding presence. We're saying, you know what, beloved females, we're going to stand and hold like pillars of the universe. We're going to hold space for you to bring the mother forward and do your work, the divine feminine work. We're going to do the divine masculine. We're going to hold space. So there's a really high intention, a clear and high intention in what we're doing. Make sense? We only repeat it a few times, but we're bringing this to the universe. Be confident. Males first, if you don't mind. Holy, 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 love. Gals, love, 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 love. Holy, holy, holy. Louder. Holy, 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 again. Love, 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 love. The gospel in one word is love. Holy, 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 holy love. To the world. Love, 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 love. Holy, holy, holy. Say it to the world. Come on, louder. One more time, to the universe. Louder. Yes. Love. Yes. Take a deep breath. Sound. Come on, sound. Keep going. Let this bliss just kind of vibrate. Oh, keep going. Breathe when you need. Oh, the one song of God, the universe. Right. Cosmos. Feed this energy. Nice throughout the universe. The light of God surrounds us. It's a fact.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are. And so it is. Absolutely. God bless you all. Peace be with you all.